Good morning, everyone. Second day of 2026. It's 10:09. I came out here last night and checked the boiler at 8 o'clock, and it was 165 degrees. I haven't checked it yet today. Figured we'd do it together like we have been. We're looking a little better. The house is feeling better than it has been the past few days. So, already came and gathered up the wood that I'm going to go throw in the boiler. It's a lot better. This is usually how I should do it, or how I do it anyways. The least amount of time you have the door open, the better. Less cold air gets in, hot air gets out, however you want to think about it. So I've kind of rounded up what I'm throwing in right here. I'm going to check the water temp real quick and we'll get to it. Much better today, guys. We're at 120. That's still low. Like I said, the fan kicks on at 165 and tries to build that fire back up. So I'm guessing we don't have a roaring fire in here, but definitely some good coals. Just give it a look. Yes, precisely. We got a few chunks of wood left here. Let me round those up and we'll get the fire going and throw this on top. And this really only takes a few minutes every day. It's the work throughout the summer and the fall and the spring getting the firewood. That's what takes a lot of time. So that's looking great. I'm going to go ahead and throw in these smaller pieces here. I like to throw in smaller pieces like this, and it kind of builds up the bigger pieces I put in there, so they're not they're not just sitting right on the bottom of the grates. And sometimes that can even cause it, I want to say smother it, but the flame doesn't really have anywhere to go. Throwing these in first kind of gives it a little bit of a structure. I think it burns better. It takes some time. Sure, it's different for anybody who has one of these, but you can really throw it in however you want and it's going to burn. So, but doing it like this, getting the wood ready ahead of time, really speeds things up, that's for sure. So, only problem with getting the wood ready like this is sometimes you can even throw in a little bit more than what you intend to. You don't want to overload it, which I think is kind of hard to do. Let's get that fixed there a little bit. This won't have to bring up the temperature as much as it has the past 2 days. So, and it'll probably come up pretty quick. So, we got a beautiful fire going in there. I'm going to get this door shut. And that's one of the daily chores. So, we're going to continue reading Genesis right on to chapter 3. I did get my wife it's kind of like a study guide Bible. Has some cliff notes in it like mine does. This one's called the Apologetics. Let's see, the Apologetics Study Bible. And this is actually the Christian Standard Bible. We went through a few verses this morning, my wife and I, looking at Genesis mostly, just kind of reading the different versions. Big plow truck going by. No snow, no more new snow today, but we've gotten quite a bit the past 2 days. Putting down cinders, it looks like. But this Christian Standard Bible is so much, I don't want to say it's easier to read, but the way they word it and text it, it's just easier to read. Anybody reading the Bible, I recommend to you to read multiple versions of it. Through time and translation, things can get mixed up. I'm not saying any of it's wrong. Again, I'm no expert on any of this stuff, but I think it's always good. I think yesterday I said to have a different perspective. I really want to say perspective, but just a different wording. So anyways, here we are. This is the Apologetics Study Bible Christian Standard Version, and we're going to jump right into chapter 3. This one has a lot of great texts and notes about certain verses of the Bible as well, kind of like the one I've been reading from. So I can't remember precisely verbatim the subtitle that I told you chapter 3 was yesterday from the other one, but this one says the temptation and the fall. So here we go. Chapter 3 of Genesis. Now the serpent was the most cunning of all the wild animals that the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, this is the serpent talking to Eve, he said to the woman, did God really say you can't eat from any tree in the garden? The woman said to the serpent, we may eat the fruit from the trees in the garden, but about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God said, you must not eat it or touch it, or you will die. And the serpent says, no, you will certainly not die, the serpent said to the woman. In fact, God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be open and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. The woman saw that the tree was good for food and delightful to look at, and that it was desirable for obtaining wisdom. So she took some fruit. She took some of its fruit and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Not good. I'm just going to read all of chapter 3. There's 20 some more verses here. Sins, consequences. So you can think of Adam and Eve eating that apple that they're not supposed to, or the fruit, from that tree. And that is kind of like sin entering the world. So sins, consequences is the next subheading here that says, or goes off and starting at verse 8. Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord walking in the garden at the time of the evening breeze, and they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. So the Lord called out to the man and said to him, where are you? Got a bunch of hay coming by. Woo, that's a lot. That's a whole semi full of hay or alfalfa, I'm not sure, but probably alfalfa to feed horses or cows or something up the road. Anyways, back to what we're doing here. Lord God among the trees of the garden. So the Lord God called out to the man and said to him, where are you? And he said, I heard you in the garden and was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. So God came down into the garden looking for Adam and Eve. Adam said, I heard you coming, but I was afraid, so I hid. Then God asked, who told you that you were naked? Did you eat from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from? The man replied, the woman you gave to be with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree and I ate. So the Lord God asked the woman, what have you done? And the woman said, the serpent deceived me and I ate. So Lord God said to the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed more than any other livestock and more than any other wild animal. You will move on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life. I will put hostility between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will strike your head, and you will strike his heel. He said to the woman, God did, I will intensify your labor pains. You will bear children with painful effort. Your desire will be for your husband, yet he will rule over you. And he said to the man, because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree about which I commanded you, do not eat from it. The ground is cursed because of you. You will eat from it by means of painful labor all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plant of the field. You will eat bread by the sweat of your brow, until you return to the ground, since you were taken from it. For you are dust, and you will return to dust. Two more verses. The man named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all the living. The Lord God made clothing from skins for the man and his wife, and he clothed them. The Lord God said, since the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil, he must not reach out, take from the tree of life, eat, and live forever. So the Lord God sent him away from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he was taken. He drove the man out of the stationed. This is verse 24. He drove the man out, the stationed out. Let me start over. Verse 24. He drove the man out and stationed the cherubim and the flaming, whirling sword east of the Garden of Eden to guard the way to the tree of life. Okay, so a lot happened, a lot to talk about. I think the biggest thing here that people get from this is Eve did listen to the serpent, the snake, and ate from the tree in which she was commanded not to. I think, like I said yesterday, just kind of looking deeper into some of these stories and really getting the most out of it that we can here. Um, and one of the biggest things for me here is, yes, there's no denying it. Eve ate from the tree in which she was commanded not to, because of the serpent. But let me, in case we glossed over it, she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. This tree, it sounds like, was very distinguished from the others, knowing the both of them were told by God, Lord, not to eat from it. They were both told from it. It doesn't sound like Eve went out in the middle of the night, got some of this fruit, and brought it back to Adam and fed it to him unknowingly. He was with her. He was right there with it. She plucked the fruit, but he ate it just as well, knowing that he was not supposed to. So it's easy to think that maybe Eve brought sin into this world, but Adam, right there, his partner, her partner. I talked about this yesterday. When you get married, when you are together like this, you are one. This was not Eve's fault. This was just as much Adam's fault as it was Eve's. And again, this is really just my perspective, things that I've heard other people say, and I've listened to, maybe I've heard in church, had a conversation with people. So Eve did listen to the serpent. It doesn't sound like Adam did, but they both ate from it. They both ate from the forbidden fruit of the tree that they were not supposed to. I just want to, kind of bring that up too. And it's so easy. They lived in this garden. It's so easy to sin, I should say. It really shouldn't be, but they lived, you would think, in this perfect world with all this tree, and it was just the two of them. Everything was absolutely great and amazing. Why would they do what they're not supposed to do? Well, why do you do what you're not supposed to do? The same as me. It's so easy. One of the biggest sins I think about is being prideful. It's so easy to say, "Oh, look at all I've done around here." We've put up chicken coops and gardens and greenhouses and split wood, and we have the property and we feed the wood boiler. But really, it's just a privilege. It's a privilege to have the health and the ability and the wisdom and the strength to do all that. And through all of that is from God, and all glory should go to Him. Like I said, we're talking about sin and how easy it is. You may think it might, wasn't so easy for Eve in the garden when everything was just perfect. Why would she do that? Well, him without sin can cast the first stone. So we're really just diving in, scratching the surface here of the Bible. I think this Christian Standard Version is a lot easier to read, maybe even easier for some of you, and even myself to interpret at some point in time, some points. But I don't know. I think I'm going to make this a little bit of a shorter video today. We got that wood thrown in the wood boiler. Let me check the temperature real quick. But again, if you guys are watching this, I've changed my phone from sitting upright to sitting horizontal. So I hope the picture's all right. I'm going to change some things, try to make something better each and every day with this channel, because I really do want to keep it going. I really do appreciate anybody who's watched. I don't think anybody's really going to watch these first 100 videos, but we got to start somewhere. So again, let me check on that water temperature and I'll get you guys out of here. I think we're doing pretty good. I bet we're at 125. Let's see. Ooh, 127, so 7 degrees. Or was it? It was 120, right? I really need to stop messing with this. It's not good to keep poking and prying. We got great smoke coming out though. We got a great fire. I'm leaving it alone. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.